Sipping whiskey from a paper cup, you'll drown your sorrows till you can't stand up. Gonorrhea on Valentine's Day and you're still looking for the perfect lay. Shooting junk till you're half insane, a broken needle in your purple vein. That is a Christian song from 1972. And if you just did a double take, well, good. Because that's exactly what Larry Norman would have wanted. I'm Rob Zahn. I'm a pastor and an upcoming author to a book that is to be released this May. It'll be my first book. I'm super excited. It's entitled LSD to Galilee, which in part traces how the drug culture of the 1960s accidentally launched what is now a multi-billion-dollar Christian music industry. It also explores how the divine is present in those very places that the church says the divine can't be. We'll talk about that in the music industry more in a minute, but today is about the man who threw a grenade at the church and called it worship, Larry Norman. Now, we're talking about him for a few reasons, but one of those reasons is that one of his songs inspired the title of that book, LSD to Galilee. The lyric goes, "No more LSD for me.
No more
I met a man from Galilee."
for me.
That's Larry Norman.
I met the man from Galilee, and he saved my soul. He made me whole, and heaven is my home.
Larry Norman had long blonde hair, a sharp tongue, a gigantic ego. He was difficult, prickly, and by most accounts, he was pretty much an ass. But here's the thing about Larry Norman. He was also right about, well, a lot of things. In fact, the Library of Congress declared his 1972 album a national cultural treasure, and yet most Christians have never even heard of him. He asked one question that nobody in the church had the nerve to even ask. It's a question that often is actually attributed, at least in Protestant circles, to Martin Luther, and he didn't say this, but the spirit of it can be found in a lot of his writings. And the question is this: why should the devil have all the good music? Larry Norman wasn't being cute, he was being serious. And then he kind of proved it. His 1972 album, Only Visiting This Planet, had electric guitars, a biting satire, lyrics about Vietnam, racism, drugs, and hypocrisy. But those lyrics were right alongside other lyrics about salvation and resurrection. The church didn't know what to do with him. He was too raw, too loud, too honest. The secular world didn't know what to do with him either. To Jesus. He was, as people said at the time, too Christian for the secular world and too secular for the Christian world. That tension was actually kind of his genius. Larry Norman championed Christian rock before Christian rock even had a name. He kicked open a door that Amy Grant, Michael W. Smith, and every worship band you've ever heard on a Sunday morning eventually walked through. Without Larry Norman, none of it actually happens. But here's the part that matters. Without one other piece, it never becomes what it is today. Because Larry Norman, yeah, he could kick down all of the doors he wanted, and Christian rock still might have stayed on the fringe. It might have stayed a curiosity. It might have stayed a footnote. But for it to become a multi-billion-dollar industry, for it to reach 50 million people every single morning, it had to find its way into a church in Costa Mesa, California. And for that to happen, it took a homeless hippie dropping acid in the California desert who had a vision of Jesus and started baptizing surfers in the Pacific Ocean. But that's a different story, a story we unpack more in that book, LSD to Galilee. I'm Rob Zahn. Thanks for joining me.
Sipping whiskey from a paper cup, you drown your sorrows till you can't stand up. Take a look at what you've done to yourself. Why don't you put the bottle back on the shelf? Yellow-fingered from your cigarettes, your hands are shaking while your body sweats. Why don't you look into Jesus? He got the answer. here on Valentine's Day, and you're still looking for the perfect play. You think rock and roll will set you free, honey? You'll be dead before you're 33. Shooting junk till you're half insane, a broken needle in your purple vein.